What's up, you guys, and welcome to episode 94 or 93. No, 94 of the Ask Alex Show. Guys, this has been an amazing ride with you guys, man. I can't wait to continue on this path. When we get to 100, episode 100, we're just going to have fun, man. It might be a live thing. I'm not so sure yet, but thank you guys for sticking with me for 94 episodes. Love the community that we've built. And honestly, I love the co-host that I've been able to put on my platform. So I have Jeremy from Movies Are Terrible today. How are you doing today, Jeremy?
I am looking forward to I'm looking forward to 94, which is what we're doing right now. So that's good. I'm ready to seize the day, but I'm really excited about episode 100, man. We need to talk about it and figure out what we're going to do it big, because you've been doing this thing for a long time. And I think it merits a celebration. So a month and a half out, and we're going to be hitting the big 100, man.
Yeah, yeah, man, I'm super excited. We'll definitely come up with something. Ian couldn't be with us today. Shout out to Ian. We just finished a great real debates match. Man, it was very intriguing. I think this is probably going to be the most funny one I put together. By the way, stay tuned for season 2. That will be coming out very, very, very soon. So thank you guys for sticking with me with that. But yeah, if you want your question or topic on this show, it's very simple, guys. Just send me an email at theaskalexshow@gmail.com. That's the Ask Alex Show at gmail.com. If you get your question or topic on the show, it'd be potentially answered on this show. I pretty much get not a lot of them, but just enough for me to manage and answer either personally or on the channel. So just keep sending me things. If it's reasonable, it'll be definitely be on the show. And to support the channel, please subscribe so that way you get all the notifications of every time I'm releasing an episode of Ask Alex or anything else on my YouTube channel. Now that we've gotten that out the way, let's go ahead and jump into the first question of the day. And our reoccurring guest, Miss Iris Peoples, keeps sending these
Love
amazing
it.
questions. And she writes, Hey, Alex, so it's been announced that a sequel to the Batman animated series show is in the works. Are you excited for this news? Well, thank you for your question, Iris. So yesterday, this episode will be out on Thursday, but on Tuesday, it was announced that HBO Max will be developing a Batman animated series sequel to the original animated series. So it doesn't give any great detail of where it's going to take place, but I'm kind of twofold on it. First, I want to say that I really enjoyed the animated series growing up. Um, it was a kid show, but it was also at the same time a very adult show. And it wasn't like, pornographic or anything like that, but violence was like very prevalent. There were guns, club scenes, mafia. I mean, I learned more about the mafia as a child before I got a grasp understanding of it growing up, like the Falcone family, all of that. I mean, it sets up a great precedence of the characters that we know and love of the Batman animated series. To answer the question though, am I excited for a sequel? Iris, I don't know if you ever seen ever seen Batman Beyond, but Batman Beyond was a sequel to the animated series. So when they announced this, I was like, I know we're getting a direct sequel to the series, but how far are we getting it? Like, is Batman's already old in the animated series because the animated series ends with Nightwing, a Tim Drake, and then a Batgirl and Batman. Batman's he's not slowing down, but he's not what he used to be. Um, it's very alluded to in the Batman Beyond series that Batman just stopped doing being Batman because he got too old. And basically everyone that was a part of him dispersed. Nightwing went his own separate way. Tim Drake went his own separate way. Barbara Gordon became chief of police. So when they say sequel, what does that mean? Like, what are we getting? Was it a direct continuation where they left off, or are they going to acknowledge all the events that happened before we got Batman Beyond? So I'm interested, but at the same time, I'm not as interested because I don't understand where they're going. So, Jeremy, I'm not sure if you heard this news, and I'm not sure if you watched the animated series, but if you watched the animated series, what did you think about it back then? And are you excited for a sequel?
So Batman the animated series and X-Men on Fox both
Mhm.
premiered around the same time. Maybe
Right.
they premiered the same time. Maybe they were both 1992. I don't remember exactly, but yes, I remember those being, to me, the
Mhm.
two best animated series of all time. As far as comic book storytelling done in the two-dimensional animation style, Batman has held up incredibly well, while X-Men kind of looks like crap now.
Yeah.
They did this thing where X-Men may have had a more like realistic or more detailed look to the
Mhm.
characters, while Batman was like much more like sleek, minimalist, kind of like Samurai Jack, which you and I were talking about just a little bit ago.
Yeah.
And I think that because Gotham City sort of exists outside of time as we know it, it's more of
Right.
this neo noir kind of like looks like old detective stuff from the, gumshoe 1920s, 1930s era,
Yeah.
mafia stuff. I feel like that helped it stay cool. Where like you look at Jean Grey's hair or Rogue's hair in those
Yeah.
90s cartoons and they're like the big giant like glam rock 80s stuff, and it
Yeah.
just didn't age as well. So I am surprised to learn that Batman the Animated Series only ran from 92 to 95. I have actually rewatched it since getting HBO Max.
Mm.
I think it's a great show. Obviously, it introduced audiences to Harley Quinn. We got a very distinct take on characters like Clayface, which I thought were really cool. Like, it was a cool cartoon. So yeah, I'm excited about the sequel. I know Kevin Conroy has continued to work and continued to voice Batman, so we know he's still game. To me, and you bring up an interesting point, Alex. I didn't even think about that. Is like, what does it mean to be a sequel as opposed to a reboot? I guess are
Right.
we gonna pick up on where the last episode left off in 1995?
Mhm.
Are we gonna ignore some of the events and just kind of like I would feel like why not just soft reboot it other than the obvious is we don't need to see the origin story of Batman again. So maybe that's the reason why they're going that direction. And then I guess Batman, the new adventures of Batman, did you ever watch that?
Yeah. 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 I
Okay.
think that's still in the same. Like, because I know it's like Batman: The New Adventures, where he has two different Robins. Or sorry, Nightwing and Tim Drake. Yeah.
Right. See, I never saw that one.
Mhm.
I was just now, I guess, aging out of cartoons before aging back into them in my mid 20s.
Mhm.
But for a little while, I'd kind of fallen off, so I never saw um, Batman Beyond. But I've heard great things about it. Are you a fan of that one?
Oh man, Batman Beyond is freaking amazing.
Really?
Oh god, like Terry McGinnis takes Batman to a whole new level. It's your modern day futuristic Batman. I don't know if you ever get the chance. I think it's on HBO Max. Watch Batman Beyond: The Return of Joker. Very interesting animated movie.
Oh, it's a feature
Well,
length.
well, well, that is, but the Batman Beyond. There's a Batman Beyond series. I think it's like 3 seasons.
Okay, yeah, I will definitely check those out because I really do like this universe. I like the portrayal of the characters. I like the moody tone. I love how it carries over a lot of the stuff from the '89 Tim Burton Batman, in particular
Mhm.
the score. I think Batmobile in the animated series pretty high on the list of dope ass Batmobiles.
Yeah, yeah. That's.
So
Go ahead. Go
Oh
ahead.
no, I'm looking forward to it. I think that's a great question, Iris. I this is something from my childhood that I really enjoyed then, and I feel like it will still resonate with audiences today.
Yeah, yeah, and to Jeremy's point, Batmobile, I probably had like 3 toys of that. Like it was just so cool. Fun fact: they actually had a model of that on at MegaCon in 2019, where people can get in and take pictures and stuff. So yeah, the Batman animated series has like literally still stands the test of time. It's beautifully made. If you look at it on HBO Max, I'm not sure if you guys have it, but check it out on HBO Max. It still holds up. I mean, there's so many animated cartoons now that I used to watch back in the day that don't hold up, but this is one I can honestly say that holds up. So I'm excited for a sequel. Like I said, I want to see where it takes place. Are they going to address the events in between the new adventure of Batman and his new adventures and Batman Beyond? I would love to see that dynamic, and I would love to see where they would take those characters. But what do you guys think? Do you want to see a new sequel to the Batman animated series? Just jump into the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. And let's go ahead and jump into the next question. And the next question comes from a Michael Kent. And Michael writes, hey guys, it's being reported that Charlie Cox has completed shooting his scenes for the Spider Man 3 movie. Is this true? And how will this character affect the movie? Well, thank you for your question, Michael. So what Michael's referring to, and honestly, I didn't know anything about this until Michael sent it to me. So when he sent it, I researched it, and the only places that are reporting this are Screen Rant and I believe Fandom Wire. Now, let me just say this. Screen Rant has gotten a lot of things right, so I won't say that they're not we got this covered, but they have gotten a lot of things wrong as well. The original owner of Screen Rant, who's not the owner of it anymore, basically sold it to a marketing company that's basically, I think they're trashing the site, in my opinion. And that's just my opinion. Same thing with Fandom Wire. Fandom Wire has made a lot of outlandish claims that tend to not like. I think it was Fandom Wire that said Miles Morales was going to be in Homecoming, and we didn't see. We got a reference, but we didn't see that in the movie. We didn't see a Miles Morales in Homecoming. So, um, I will say that again, Fandom Wire and Screen Rant, they're definitely not we got this covered. But here's my issue with what they're saying. None of what they're saying has been confirmed. And honestly, I tend to not try to talk about those things if they have not been confirmed by like a deadline, a variety, or from the studios themselves. Charlie Cox, if you've watched Charlie Cox's Daredevil on Netflix, I think it's the best interpretation of Daredevil that we've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
I don't see how Matt Murdock plays a pivotal role in Spider-Man 3. Like why my thing is why is he there? For what reason? And I'm sure that they could come up with a creative reason why, but the whole point of Daredevil is to take care of Hell's Kitchen, his little corner. He's never really been involved in the multiverse magical existence that Spider-Man 3 looks like it's setting up. Like it's I mean, it hasn't been confirmed, but I know Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are in this movie. We got their villains in this movie, so it makes sense that they would be in this movie. So I don't understand why Daredevil, Charlie Cox, who's never been mentioned in the MCU, would be in this movie. And like I said, from a legal standpoint, Netflix still owns that version of Daredevil. They own that interpretation. They don't own the Daredevil rights. They own that interpretation because it's still a Netflix original. Last time I checked, all the original Netflix series are still on Netflix. Disney has not bought them out. At least bought that version out. They own the proper rights so they can do whatever they want. Like I wouldn't be surprised if Matt Murdock was in Spider-Man 3, just not Charlie Cox playing Matt Murdock. But again, like I don't see why he would be there. And I had to really think about the past episodes of Ask Alex. Jeremy makes a really good point. I'm starting to not be so excited for Spider-Man 3 because I'm trying to figure out what is the point of this movie. They recently just put out stills that it might be taking place in Christmas, and they have snow and some Christmas things up. But I'm excited to see the three Spider-Mans collide, but at this point it's kind of like, all right, why you mean to tell me you're colliding for what? To fight the Sinister Six? We don't need three Spider-Men for that. I mean, it would still be cool to see, but I don't know why we would need that. So I don't know what to make of this, Jeremy. What do you think about Charlie Cox potentially finishing all his scenes and potentially maybe being in the movie? And what are your overall thoughts about Screen Rant reporting on this type of stuff?
So you probably have been seeing this stuff a lot longer than I have, but have you ever seen Screen Rant's pitch meetings on YouTube?
Yes,
That guy is
absolutely.
so funny, man. He's really
Yes,
good. If
yes.
you folks that are watching this haven't seen it, check out just on YouTube, search pitch meetings for all your favorite movies. There's already one. There's hundreds of those. So that was kind of my first like entry point into Screen Rant, other than knowing that they were kind of, I would consider on par with like comic book
.com.
resources or
Yeah.
comic book movie news. Like they're not trash. Like, we got this covered. They're
Right.
also like exactly what you said, Alex. They're somewhere on the spectrum between variety and we got this covered. They're like somewhere in the middle there,
Exactly,
Uh,
exactly.
and yeah, there are some reports that said they wrapped filming a couple of days ago. And bro, we have talked about Spider-Man 3 several times in the past, and I keep coming down on the side of like, yeah, they could throw Charlie Cox in this movie if they wanted to. They could throw the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man from Ghostbusters into this movie if they wanted to, because multiverse. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Exactly, yeah.
there's nothing they can't do, and
Right.
maybe that's freeing as a writer. But to me, I feel like having constrictions, restrictions, having to keep it in some sort of like tangible established rules that have been set earlier, or early in the movie or whatever, keeps it feeling like there are stakes. When there is a multiverse, as in, millions of different realities going on, we saw it in Into the Spider-Verse.
Right.
Peter Parker can die, but don't worry, because there's still
Another one.
yes, there's still countless more of the same thing.
Mhm.
You and I and Ian were talking last Ask Alex about Deadpool getting fit into the MCU.
Yeah.
It's a similar but different kind of situation, because what we've got with Deadpool is this very cartoonish character trying to fit into it's a very fantastical world at the MCU, but slightly more grounded, slightly less meta. There's no fourth wall breaking in particular. So how do you take this cartoonish character and put him into a world that's similar to our own? This is the opposite of that. This is how do you take a really, really grounded character who we've seen get his ass beat by men, thugs in the street. How do you
Yeah.
put that guy into a movie where he's fighting against cosmic aliens or whatever? And to me, those two things don't gel, because the reason why I like Daredevil so much is a lot of the reason why I like Spider-Man so much, and that's because they are different kinds of vigilantes that are protecting their own neighborhoods.
Right.
Spider-Man never had a chance to do that in the MCU. He never had a chance to be that character in the MCU, and that sucks to me a little bit, but it's all right because I like what they're doing with Marvel's Spider-Man. There's that one thing that I'm not gonna get, and the tonal difference between the Sony Marvel Spider-Man movies, which are very cartoony, colorful, bright, buoyant. There's a little bit of innuendo, maybe some language or whatever, but for the most part, this is squarely aimed at an even younger audience than I would say what Captain America is aimed towards.
Yeah.
And then you look at Daredevil, and that's as explicitly adult as it could possibly be,
Yes.
So I don't see how, and I don't see why, but at the same time, like, why not? So I don't know. I'm not excited about it. I just feel like at this point it's almost all publicity moves, and that doesn't compel me or excite me as much as just really strong storytelling. And I mean, we're in the midst of watching WandaVision right now, and we know that some multiverse stuff is about to come to fruition, and then I'll have a better take on it, and I'll be able to let you know how I'm feeling about the future of the MCU and all of that. But for right now, it's just like, is that what Spider-Man 3 is lacking? Is a cameo from Charlie Cox as Daredevil? Get paid, man. You know what I mean? If he's going to get $1 million for it, get paid, man. I like him, so good for him.
Yeah, I agree with Jeremy. Hey, if he's just making a cameo, hey man, get paid, get your money when you
Yep.
can. But yeah, I have to agree though. I love the point that he made. Like Daredevil is there. Well, Daredevil and Spider Man are two different vigilantes, but they protect their neighborhoods. But Daredevil is a darker character that's a little bit more violent, you know,
Mm,
and in the Netflix series, it's not rated R by any means, but heavy sexual, heavy violence, heavy blood. When you watch Spider-Man Homecoming, it's for everybody. It's more towards gets to, I would say, the young adult and even kids that love Spider-Man, but Spider-Man is not sleeping with Mary Jane. Hell,
right.
Spider-Man didn't even sleep with Mary Jane when Toby Maguire was Spider-Man. Like, you know, so like it's one of them things where it's just like, how do you take these two different worlds and make them a reality? And I think Jeremy is absolutely right. Like, you know, until we get, I think, episode 3 of WandaVision, we're going to get a better look of the multiverse. Because if you've seen WandaVision, the first two kind of hint on it, but they don't necessarily explain the multiverse just yet. But I do believe we'll have a better perspective once that show wraps. But you know, what do you guys think? What do you guys think about Charlie Cox potentially wrapping up shooting on Spider-Man 3? Just jump into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. And let's go ahead and go to the final question of the day. And the final question comes from a Keith Beers, one of my managers, by the way, who watches the show. Thank you for
Nice. Thanks.
sending a question, Mr. Keith. And Keith writes, "Hey Alex, a Willy Wonka prequel is in the works at WB. Do you think it's too late for WB to make another Willy Wonka movie?" Well, thank you for your question, Keith. So I think the first Charlie and the Chocolate Factory came out. I don't believe I was born yet. I don't remember the year it came out, but I do remember watching it in elementary school. And I remember the comments being made amongst some of my teachers who said, I used to watch this movie. I love this movie when it first came out, hinting at the fact that at the time when they were teaching me and I was young, that they were young when they saw it. Um, Again, I don't remember the exact year. Somebody please fact check me when it first came out, but I love the first movie. The first movie is definitely nostalgic. Gene Wilder, man, his Willy Wonka was freaking amazing.
Yeah,
And what's
man.
the I think the distinct difference between his and Johnny Depp, what Gene Wilder was on his shit. He let those kids fuck themselves up. And he was like, whatever, like I'm gonna keep it moving. I'm gonna
Yep.
keep it moving, and y'all entitled kids can do whatever the fuck you want to do. If I warn you one time and you still do it, hey, all I can say is that your parents got money, they can fix it. I'm gonna keep it moving. And Charlie, he Charlie shows the innocence of a boy who just wants to do the right thing and essentially help his family. And Gene Wilder just gives him the factory, and it's just perfectly articulated in that movie. When I watched the the reboot, I would say aesthetically and special effects, it was a great special effects aesthetic movie. But that movie's just trash. Like they made Willy Wonka not necessarily an asshole, but just they made him so wacky and goofy. And if you ever read Willy Wonka, any stories about Willy Wonka, that man is a genius. He's a genius, and how they portrayed him in that remake was just not the accurate depiction of who he's supposed to be. That's why I said Gene Wilder's Willy Wonka. Oh my god, like I said, like he would warn somebody one time. If you didn't want to listen to him, you fell flat to those consequences.
Yep.
And you know what's so funny? All I keep thinking about is that scene in the first movie is where the girl demands her dad to buy one of those golden eggs, and he's just trying to get Willy Wonka to sell them to him. He's like, "Name your price." He's like, "They're not for sale." He's like, "Everyone has a price." And this girl is being such a brat, and all I can think about is that if my mom saw me act that way, she would whip my ass. And
Yes.
what's so funny is that when she falls down that egg thing, that egg basket, And he's like, the father's like, where is she? Like, is she gonna be okay? Like, where's the incinerator? Like, he's freaked out. But what's so funny about it is that it shows you how privileged a lot of people are,
Yep.
and how these kids control their parents. And Charlie, who has nothing, is so humble. But to answer your question, is it too late to release a Willy Wonka prequel? Um, I think it's good to take nostalgia things and repurpose them. I would love to see how Willy Wonka got started. I believe there's books about that. However, it is not on the top of my list. I would have to see a trailer first. I would have to see the trailer first, and I would have to judge it between that. But if they go the insane, uh, nonsensical Willy Wonka, then I'm not gonna really want to watch it. But if they take cues from Gene Wilder's performance, oh my god, like I would be intrigued. But Jeremy, I know you've seen this movie. I know you've seen both movies. What is your take on the movies, and are you interested to see a prequel?
I loved listening to you give props to Gene Wilder. That dude is incredible.
Yeah.
Obviously Willy Wonka. Obviously his performance as Willy Wonka is uh I don't know. I would put it in the top 20 most iconic film roles in the history of
Yeah.
film. I mean, you could probably make a compelling argument for 20 others that are more important than him, but for
Wow.
me, Gene Wilder in the 70s, Blazing Saddles, Willy Wonka, Bride of Frankenstein, a little bit, not Bride of Frankenstein, Young Frankenstein, sorry,
Yeah.
a couple
Right.
years later. He's great. He is a revelation and just so, I think, vital to that character. Where in 2005, which is when the Tim Burton version of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory came out,
Mm.
it was very hard for audiences to look at Johnny Depp and his kind of like, let's be real, it was kind of a Michael Jackson impression, right? Like,
Yes, very much so.
I thought that's the vibe that I picked off of it, is like he's kind of in Neverland Ranch, and this is his Arrested Development. It's almost like Johnny Depp made a choice as an actor to be like, we're looking for somebody who's kind of in Arrested Development and somebody who like has this weird connection to kids and childhood, but they themselves are an adult. So I didn't dislike Charlie and the Chocolate Factory that Tim Burton did. And it was probably more true to the Roald Dahl Charlie and the Chocolate Factory book than the original one was, but it doesn't change the fact that the original Willy Wonka is just an exponentially better movie. There's a lot of good reasons why.
Mhm.
Alex, I think you brought up the thing about Gene Wilder's performance in particular that I really dig, and it's like
Mhm.
he's just so not concerned with it. Like he's
Exactly.
just so nonchalant, you know?
Yeah.
Augustus Gloop gets sucked up the freaking chocolate tube and he's just like, well, whatever. Anyways, let's go.
Yeah.
Tour continues and it's just like
Exactly.
nothing. And I also like what you said. It's really, I don't want to say it's anti-capitalist message
Mm,
because it's not. It's
mm,
just, it shows how wealth and privilege breed entitlement,
mhm.
and that people that typically have strong character are the ones who came from hardships. And I
Right.
think that that's a message in itself that is relatable and universal. And I dig that. Deep Roy, shout out to Deep Roy. He plays all of the Oompa Loompas in the sequel, and
Yeah.
he makes sure to wish Victoria a happy birthday every year on Facebook, which is really nice of him.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's wild. So
Uh-huh.
we're friends with the Oompa Loompas
Mm.
from the 2005 version. So I'll never say anything too disparaging. No, actually, I'm a big Tim Burton fan. So anyways, all that said to say, the thing about uh Willy Wonka, sort of the same thing about Michael Jackson. It's
Mm.
kind of the same thing about the Joker. Let's go down the list. It's the mystique is part of what makes them appealing. The more that you learn about them, the less interesting they may be, or not less
Mhm.
interesting, but the
Mhm.
less likable, relatable. Like you can project your own thoughts onto Willy Wonka. And in the beginning of the original film, it's one of my favorite scenes where Willy Wonka comes walking out to the gate, and he's kind of hobbling, and he's on a cane, and he looks kind of elderly and shrunk up, and then he like busts out into this big like
Mhm.
bombastic almost acrobatic movements, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, this guy isn't everything that he appears.
Mhm.
Prequels aim to give us everything that we didn't already know about the character, and I feel that by giving them so much depth and so much explanation, then you're taking away that revelation that is Willy Wonka. Like, I don't need to know everything leading up to that point because I only know him through Charlie's eyes. So when you switch perspectives like that, sometimes it works really well. I will say they're eyeing Timothy Chalamet and maybe even potentially Tom Holland. I think Timothy Chalamet very much looks like a young Johnny Depp type. Like, he's got that same kind of like early 90s teen beat or tiger beat look to him.
Mhm.
So like I can see how they would say, oh yeah, Timothy Chalamet is a young Johnny Depp. But I'm going to be honest, it has such a high probability of just being complete trash that you're gonna have to sell me. You're gonna have to show me something, because right now, yeah, like Alex, like you said, as far as list of things that I'm excited to see, this will be so far down the list that I don't know. But if they do it right, they can definitely do it well, because I think I speak for myself and Alex to say I'm a fan of the source material. So let's see it, and let's see them do it well.
Yeah. I have to agree with Jeremy. Let's just see it. See it. I personally, like he said, like it's not on the top of my list. It has the potential of being very trash, and I think, I always say that anything can be remade, anything can be repurposed, but there hasn't been a Willy Wonka or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory that has bested the original.
No.
It just, it hasn't. And even if you do pick a up and coming actor or a seasoned actor as Tom Holland, because Tom Holland right now is like in 5 movies coming out, I think in
Right?
this year, like he's killing it. So I just, and I think Tom Holland is a good choice, but again, I would have to see it. Like, I haven't really, outside of maybe Spider-Man and Devil All the Time, I haven't really seen Tom Holland grow. But now this year, we're getting to see him grow. Like, so he's going to be in Uncharted. He's going to be in Cherry. He's going to be in some other things. So I want to see him grow. And if he is picked for this role, I would see what happens. But like Jeremy said, I'm not like right there with it. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think this is a great pick for Warner Brothers to do? Do you want to see a origin story of Willy Wonka? Just jump into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Real quick before we sign off, I want to get Jeremy's quick thoughts about episode 1 and 2 of WandaVision. So, what did you think about the episode, man? I know we talked briefly in the group chat, but I just wanted to hear your thoughts and let the people know your thoughts about WandaVision.
Did you upload a review?
No, I have not.
Oh, okay, so this is me and Alex's first time talking about this. This is
Right,
great, man.
right,
I'm glad you
right.
brought this up.
Mhm.
Um, I dig it, man. I like it. That's my general thoughts. Where are you at on it? Are you? I will talk a little bit more, but are you
Uh-huh.
are you on the positive or the negative side?
I'm in between.
All right, all right.
I'm like, because like the first 2 episodes, you can tell by the way it starts that there's something wrong.
Yes.
And I don't believe, like I said this in a tweet. I said I'm interested in the movie, in the future episodes, but I'm very underwhelmed for episode 1 and 2. But I'm starting to not believe this is a multiverse thing. I'm starting to believe this is either like Wanda is captured and somebody's fucking with her mind, or she's created a reality where someone outside of reality notices it and they're trying to wake her up. Like, I don't really know if this is as strongly hinted towards the multiverse. And I have a feeling that Doctor Strange is in this series. So clearly some, because when you hear those that scene where it's like
Who
Wanda,
is
like
that?
someone who I don't know, like I'm
All
thinking
right.
I think it's Doctor Strange. I don't, that's why I said that, but somebody is trying to wake her up or make
Yeah.
her realize something. And there's I love what keeps me like on my edge, that I know that something is wrong. But
Yeah.
I kind of got past the whole 70s cartoon thing very quickly. That's just me.
So the first episode, we've only seen the first two episodes.
Right.
Minor spoilers ahead. I assume if you watch this show, you probably are watching WandaVision. If
Hmm.
not, you might want to check your priorities.
Exactly.
That said, I'm totally kidding. But that said, episode one is very much homaging classic television
Yep.
shows like the Dick Van Dyke Show, which I'm gonna
Yeah.
be honest, I watched I Love Lucy. I've never seen the Dick Van Dyke Show. I hear it's really good. Did you grow up watching any of those like before our parents' generation sitcoms?
So at one point in my life, we didn't have cable.
Uh
So
huh.
when we watched TV Land, my mom loved I Love Lucy and the Golden Girls. So
Okay.
I watched I Love Lucy, and I in the original, like the original Batman and Robin, the
Mm-hmm.
Adam West. Um, I Love Lucy, and it really refers that. So I think that's a great comparison that you made. I didn't think about that till just now.
Yeah, yeah, I think it does that well. And I also am a real big fan of Elizabeth Olsen and
Yeah,
what's Paul Bettany
yeah,
is really good. The two performances from them are the thing that at this point has got me invested cuz to your point Alex, it's really hard to say right now whether or not we're going to end up thinking this is a great series because barely anything has happened yet. So you got the first episode that takes place in the 50s. It's
hmm
kind of like an I Love Lucy, Dick
hmm
Van Dyke Show. The second episode
hmm
takes place in the 60s, and already, even though it's still black and white, you can see a total dramatic difference in
hmm
the way that the characters are portrayed. There's fashion choices, hairstyles, all these small little details that let you know, all right, this is carrying us into the new era. There's the animated opening sequence, which is very reminiscent of Bewitched. So you've
yeah.
got the first episode's the Dick Van Dyke Show, second episode's Bewitched. At the end, it's all turning into color. So we presume the next episode's going to be the 70s, then the 80s, then we're probably going to end up doing like a Full House
Hmm.
spoof at the end. I don't know how many episodes. I think there's 8 of them, but right now I'm enjoying it in these pocket universes. I enjoyed the first one as this homage. I enjoyed the second one as this homage, and I know we got to wrap it up, but the thing that I liked in the first episode is like when you're in a studio audience, and Alex, you've probably been, yeah, I know you went to and saw the filming of Wild 'N Out or whatever.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
there's basically cues that instruct the audience to applaud sometimes, or like laugh tracks elicit the similar reaction out of human beings because we have a tendency to mirror the emotions that we are perceiving at the time. And
Yeah.
there's this really interesting scene in WandaVision episode 1 when they're at the dinner table and the boss starts
Shows.
choking. Yeah. Yeah. And you
Yeah.
expect, because you've seen so many television shows over the years, that scene a lot of times would be played for laughs. He'd be like, and everybody's laughing in the background.
Mhm.
They drop all of the audio out and it gets weird for a second. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
what's going on? And then Wanda's like, Vision, help him. And immediately it's almost like Vision is intimidated by her. It's like this whole world is terrified of Wanda getting upset about something, you know?
Right, right. And it's like no one notices that obviously Vision and Wanda are different, but Vision and Wanda are very aware that they're different in comparison to like their neighbors, their co-workers, stuff like that. And I'm just trying to figure out, like, I just want to know what the hell is going on. Like,
Yeah.
they're saying that this series takes place after Endgame. Okay, I'm not trying to. I said this before. I'm like, I'm not trying to see like any references from Thanos or anything like that. But like, what the hell? Like, I'm just like, something is wrong. I just want to know what's going on. That's
So the watch commercial, you saw
Mhm.
that it references Strucker in it,
Yeah,
and he's
yeah.
the guy that had the Hydra base in the beginning of Age of Ultron. So maybe that's all I know. I know that we're putting together something where Hydra has somehow put I can't even say, maybe it's just repressed memories. And then, like you said, there's this person calling out from somewhere, some other time and space. And I feel like I would know Benedict Cumberbatch's voice, but they're intentionally keeping it really vague. So I'm
Mhm.
listening, trying to figure out who it is. But yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. That's kind of my takeaway right now. It could go either way, but I think it's cool.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm definitely intrigued, but um, the only thing that really kept me intriguing is that I know, and like everyone who's watching knows, that there is something prevalently, seriously wrong. And
Yes.
as I'm watching one, it's for me, it's like the real Wanda's trying to break free from something. Like she's like fighting herself. I don't know how Elizabeth Olsen is able to do it on screen, but you can see that she's playing a character of her own self, and it's so weird and it's intriguing. And like I said, I kind of got over the whole 70s 50s cartoon type of thing, but at the end of the day, I enjoyed it for what it was. But what do you guys think, man? What do you guys think about the first two episodes of WandaVision? This is my first time reviewing it. I may do more reviews, but like we stated before in the previous questions, until we get a proper introduction of the multiverse, I think that may shape our opinions about how we feel about Marvel going in this direction. So thank you guys so much for watching this jam-packed episode of Ask Alex. Please like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channels, where that way you get all the updates of every time we're releasing a YouTube video here on our channels. Jeremy, where can we find you on YouTube?
Check out Movies Are Terrible for more more marbles in my mouth. For more Marvel related content, I'm going to be doing some WandaVision breakdowns here in the next couple of days. Also, make sure to check out Jeremy Be Terrible on Twitter and Instagram.
Awesome, awesome. And shout out to Ian. He couldn't be with us, but definitely check out the Controversy as well. He's putting out some really great content. He's put out some things about the Boondocks that are very interesting. So definitely check those things out. Also, he did an interview with the animator of Trillville, which is a dope comic book series. You definitely want to check that out as well. And also, guys, keep checking out what we're doing here at Momentum Media. We got some new merch. We got some new things coming out. I'm releasing the promo for Real Debates. By the end of this month, you'll see the promo for season 2 of Real
Nice.
Debates. So it's going to be an amazing series. I can't wait for you guys to see the new effects, the new things that I've added to it. So please stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. And as always, you have a blessed day.